Tough. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Wimlu. You are listening to the Raptors Reaction Podcast, which is a presentation of ToonieBet Online Sportsbook and Casino. I cannot tell you what the final score is going to be, but I can tell you that the Raptors are currently getting clapped by the Clippers. They are down 19 points with just over 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. They have been down the entire game. Every time they make 2 buckets in a row, which is pretty rare, but every time they make 2 buckets, Darius Garland hits a 3 from half court. Nicholas Batum is doing no dip threes. Isaiah Jackson and Brook Lopez are thoroughly outplaying Jakob Poeltl and Colin Murray-Boyles. The Raptors, some stats to sort of ponder. Going into halftime, the Raptors were 4-15 from 3. That includes a possession where they missed 3 straight threes on the same possession. And then they capped it off on the 4th chance on that possession with a turnover. They were also somehow 1 of 7 from the foul line in the first half. And you might think, well, that's a bit of an anomaly. I think they'll get better. I'm here to tell you that, again, the game's not over, but it's almost over, thankfully. But they're 2 of 9 from the foul line. It's unbelievable, actually. It's actually kind of incredible to only be 2 of 9 from the foul line as a team. Again, you know, if a miracle happens, you'll hear it live. You can also watch the game on the background if you like. I would say the only good thing the Raptors did tonight was make life difficult for Kawhi, but Kawhi didn't really have to do all that much. Kawhi's like, all right, you want to focus in on me. Oh, by the way, make life difficult for Kawhi. Kawhi has 22 points in 25 minutes and is a plus 11. I just mean he's had to work harder than usual. But yeah, I mean, Raptors completely out of sync all night. Last game of a road trip, whatever you want to say, but ultimately, not a lot of fight. And even in the moments where they did have the fight, I think just their diabolical outside shooting kind of did them in. Again, like the game is still happening, but RJ had a real struggle in this one. As of right now, he's 4 of 17 from the field, including 0 of 7 from 3, and also 2 of 5 from the foul line for just 10 points. The Raptors have found success recently. Oh, here comes Darius Garland again. Pure wizardry, just straight up splitting a double team. I gotta say, Garland is fun to watch. Yeah, he is literally stunting all over the Raptors all night. But yeah, RJ has really struggled in this game. Nothing went right for him. Couldn't get the outside shots to drop. And look, I mean, when you start the game with like Brook Lopez has like 11 points because Jakob Poeltl can't guard Brook Lopez, it's like, what are you really gonna do, man? The Clippers got Brook Lopez for like $5 million, maybe 4. And the Raptors got Jakob for a cool 20. It's like, all right, I mean, Yak has worked his way to 10 points, so he's almost gonna catch Brook Lopez's total from the first quarter. But yeah, I don't know, man. It was a real struggle for them to get off offense. And, I think the Clippers, it was really an issue because the Raptors couldn't really stop, Kawhi from scoring, definitely couldn't stop Garland from scoring. But then, of course, there were certain periods where, look, RJ got a little layup, so it's now 14 points. Ty Lue got to call a timeout. They're trying to rally. If they rally, they come back, I'd be happy. I'd be really happy for them. Obviously I'm still pulling for the team, but yeah, like it was really disappointing to see their second unit come in and bully the Raptors as well. Jacoby Walter, who has been really hot of late, kind of been a great feel-good story for the team. Certainly coming off a really nice game against the Jazz where he made 6 threes. This game didn't even get a chance to take shots. I mean, He's 2 of 2 from the field. He has a 3 made in that stretch, but he picked up 3 fouls basically in like the first 5 minutes that he played. A lot of that was just like unable to guard Mathurin, but also sort of like struggling with the physicality of the game. Ball movement also wasn't particularly strong. Like, I don't have a lot of positive reviews of this game, but it's part of the reason why we're starting early. The other reason is because, obviously, this is their latest game of the year. and it's well past midnight. And of course, if the Raptors do go on to, not even threaten to come back, then why are we all sort of still awake for this? But nevertheless, yeah, I guess you could kind of see it coming in a way. I mean, the Clippers are quite good. They are only 500 on the season, 36 and 36, but they've certainly had multiple iterations of their team. I mean, again, like, to put this into perspective, like if the Raptors played the Clippers in a hypothetical playoff series, the Clippers will have the best player in the series by far in Kawhi Leonard. Based on how he played tonight, Darius Garland might be the second best player in the series, but I obviously do think that on the whole, I may give that to Scotty. I mean, Scotty is a better player than Darius Garland, but then again, Garland obviously has totally different type of players, but Garland has this like game-breaking level of offense, which we've seen here. And the Clippers have so many vets, versus Toronto, where Toronto has a lot of young guys, and then even some of their vets are kind of like a little bit unreliable at times. I don't think it'll be a sweep or anything, but even the Clippers at 36 and 36, like they would actually give the Raptors a ton of problems, which they have done tonight. I mean, the Raptors are largely healthy. Unfortunately, Emmanuel Quickley was not able to play today. The Raptors obviously held him out last game as well against Utah with plantar fasciitis. At that time, you might have been concerned. You might have thought, well, like maybe they're just holding him out because it's a game against the Jazz. You don't really need him, and obviously the Raptors didn't need him in that game because they're basically a G League team. But at the same time, like I think when I watched this game and how it went, like there's a lot of reliable contributors on the Clippers side that, with the level of physicality, with the level of intelligence, even the level of coaching, when you think about having Ty Lue, who's a championship coach, when you think of having like Jeff Van Gundy, who isn't a championship coach, but has coached like how many 50-win teams, dating back to like the 90s with the Knicks and even the Rockets, with Yao Ming and Tracy, like they have like really, really strong, like ready to win now guys. And granted, like, look, they're pivoting midseason. They're still the 28th oldest roster in the league. Like, clearly, them having veterans versus the Raptors having young guys is not a surprise to say. But I mean, at the same time, like when I watch the two teams, it's funny because the Raptors have the much better record, but the Clippers are just as competitive, if not more, built to win games now than the Raps are, and I think that's actually putting things into perspective for me in a way. I think the Raptors really need a lot of pieces to go right. I was thinking about the last episode that we did with Joe Wolfon and Vivek Jacob, and one thing Vivek was saying about was just like, look, the Raptors' record against the top teams, you can't take it at face value because the Raptors missed a lot of starters in that time, and basically the Raptors are a team that they need their starters to play all together at once. To sort of like be effective. But at the same time, I thought about that and I'm like, it's kind of like in a Yu-Gi-Oh sense, like you kind of need all pieces of Exodia, but individually, the 5 pieces of Exodia aren't particularly valuable. And so, it's a weird place to be in, and that's not to say the Raptors haven't like improved. That's not to say the Raptors may be on a different circumstance if they weren't, on the road, if it wasn't the 5th game of road trip, if they could hit some shots. Obviously tonight they couldn't hit anything, literally even free throws they couldn't hit. Maybe if they got off to a better start, like, you say what you want, maybe they could have pinched this game, but I do feel like just putting into perspective, like, especially as the playoffs are happening, especially because like, this game took place really late. It started at 10:30, so I started watching this right after I watched the entirety of Boston versus OKC. It's just like when you see like high level basketball and then you see the Raptors back to back, you're just like, this is a good-ish team, but mostly mid. Like it's a mostly mid team, And I don't know. Maybe I feel like I've been so hard on them sometimes because like they started the season well, and there's all these expectations that came about from that, and the team tries to distance itself from the expectations all the time, even though to a man, Scotty, Brandon, the rest of the roster, everyone said we're going to go to the playoffs. Our goal is to go to the playoffs next year. So I don't necessarily see like too much of an overextension. No one's holding the Raptors to championship standards. Everyone's basically saying just get to the top 6 and lose in the first round. Like that's generally speaking where it's going to be. But at the same time, I look at this team and I'm just like, the level just kind of isn't that good. Like they have some times where they look really cohesive. I think at the start of the season they looked better, not just based on the fact that they were winning more, but it looks like their identity was better. Like they were more aggressive on defense, more together on defense, and they were able to actually run a pretty efficient half court offense. I think people forget that, but in like October and November, even into the middle of December, they still had like a pretty good half court offense. And obviously their transition offense has been pretty good just because they always force a lot of turnovers. But like, I feel like they kind of had a good identity early on, and they shared the ball really well, and the team got together, great. Of late, I'm watching it, I'm just like, this team starts to like slip into bad habits that I didn't even know they had. Like a lot of ISO ball. They play a lot of ISO ball nowadays. Defensively, they kind of gamble a lot. And you might say that, well, if you're going to play for turnovers, gambling's part of it. But I don't know. There's also like lapses in concentration. Guys aren't really communicating well on switches. Like they're not really doing the basics on a consistent enough basis, and that really is the fundamental level that you need to sort of achieve for competence. And again, like the games just get harder from here. Everyone just I keep thinking that the Raptors are like through their tough stretch of their schedule. They're not, right? They play the Clippers tonight. They're gonna lose tonight. They're gonna play the Pelicans at home. That's not gonna be an easy game. We saw what happened the last time the Raptors played the Pelicans. Then they play the Pistons, and you might say, well, the Pistons don't have Cade Cunningham. The Pistons have won basically every game since Cade's gone out. So, no, sorry, that's not true. They lost to the Hawks in OT tonight, but the Pistons are still very competitive, and you're going into Detroit, not an easy place to play whatsoever. And and then it just kind of keeps going. There's more games against the Knicks. The Orlando games can be really difficult. They're basically going to be playing for their lives. The two games against Miami, who are quite frankly playing better than the Raptors are at the moment. Miami just thoroughly beat the Cavaliers from start to finish. Like, the level is starting to show, man. And I do feel like, obviously, the playoffs is like the big separating factor, but the rest of the regular season kind of is that too. And, even, again, I got one eye on this game, and I obviously got the other part on just the reaction here. But realistically, like, you just look at the talent level, and the other teams have, like, it's a little obscene. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like the Raptors, like, are like completely dysfunctional, or they're not even necessarily playing below their talent. You might even argue the Raptors are playing slightly above their talent. I wouldn't necessarily give that argument, but I can sort of hear that from certain people who are more pessimistic about how the team fits. But nevertheless, like, you look at the Clippers, and the Clippers aren't like rich in talent. But like Garland can just whip up offense like that. Like the guy he's like averaging like 6 threes a game. In the last like 2 months, there's entire Raptors who can't do that. In the span of a season, you know what I mean? Like have 6 threes games, and Garland does it easily. Or, they got Brook Lopez who's hitting corner threes. We don't even have like, we don't have a rim protecting, floor spacing center like that. He thoroughly outplayed Poeltl tonight, like very much outplayed Poeltl. And then of course on top of that, they got Kawhi Leonard. Like Kawhi is just like, here's a pull-up 3 to win the game. Literally, he just hit a pull-up 3 in Scotty's eye. Right before this, he hit a pull-up long 2 in Scotty's eye. I don't need to describe, what Kawhi is to you. Every Raptor fan knows what Kawhi is about. But it's just like, and they got vets, and they got a smart coaching staff, and they're really competitive. And on top of that, they're 500. I mean, they're going to be one game over 500 tonight, but the record's actually worse than the Raptors. But just real levels to this, man. There just really are. Like, truly, there are levels to this. When I watch across the NBA, and I've been watching a ton of ball, man, because, like, it's getting really good. Like, I keep telling everybody, but, like, if you're going to spend a night, every other night watching the Raptors, you're going to miss on a lot of good basketball. Because, like, there's lots of good hoop around the league, like, watching Luka, like, the guy averaged, like, 45 points over a 6-game road trip and hit, like, multiple game winners. Watching Wemby, like Wemby was on tonight, Shea was on tonight, Jaylen Brown versus Shea in the MVP battle. Like, that was awesome to see. Like, Jaylen Brown legit, it didn't snatch Shea's chain, but basically went at Shea all night on both ends of the floor and beat him. Like, that's awesome basketball. Watching the Hawks and Pistons, I guess I didn't really get a chance to see it, but looking at a game in OT, that's awesome basketball. Watching a bit of the end of how Houston sort of stood up and came back from down double digits against the Timberwolves, and Alperen Şengün with a bloodied mouth because he, came in with an incredible chase down block to save the game in OT, and then also to win the game in OT. Like, that's incredible ball. I just consistently see teams around the NBA start to raise their level and find their consistency and throw away the excuses and, just like, and stars in particular elevating. And I see the opposite happening for the Raptors. Like it's like, like I see Scotty trying and working his ass off on the defensive end and trying to play make, but it's a struggle scoring for him. Like tonight, he has 9 points, right? He played like the whole game with the ball in his hands. He got 9 points, right? Brandon Ingram, like 18 points in 18 minutes, has some turnovers, not really effective in a game like this, right? RJ sometimes gets hot, but realistically, he should be your third option. IQ doesn't play, so Jamal Shed plays. Jamal basically can't score at all. Clippers ignored him on defense all night. We're bringing in like mostly assorted young guys, off the bench. Mamu played well. It's great to see that he hit some threes and played aggressive, but again, it doesn't really move the needle. Like it's just, there are just like, I guess it's really sinking in for me like on a, like fully tonight, especially because I watched a lot of basketball before the Raptors game, which again started at 10:30. But there's just some really good hoops out there, man, and the Raps just aren't part of it. Like I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean? I actually don't know what else to say. I don't mean to be pessimistic. I'm not saying that like this season's like a bad one or everything's gone to shit. Although the Raptors obviously are down 112 to 88 in this game, and they're now going to drop back into 6 after Atlanta has surpassed the Raptors since they're 15-2 since the All-Star break. But bro, even Atlanta's surpassing. And again, even when you look at Atlanta, I'm like, okay, maybe I don't respect Atlanta as much because I've seen the Raptors sweep them 4-0 this year, right? So like, I'm like, all right, what's the big deal about Atlanta? Well, then you take a step back and you look at Atlanta. I was watching a bit of their game today, and I was like, how many shooters do they have, right? Because you look at the Raptors, like obviously that's a big issue is the shooting, right? We don't have a lot of shooting, right? But outside of Dyson Daniels, who mostly on the floor for his defense and transition and even occasional cuts to the basket, and his like swooping drives and floaters and stuff like that. But like Jalen Johnson, like 3-level scorer, right? And a really good passer. Onyeka Okongwu can hit threes. Tonight he was 3 of 5 at the center position. Nikhil should be winning most improved player of the year this year. Got 21 points, right? That's what he's averaging on the season. CJ McCollum, no one respects CJ McCollum like that, but he still would be a very reliable scorer for the Raptors. Hit 5 threes tonight. And then who are they coming off the bench? Gabe Vincent, Zachary Risachet, Jock Landale, Kuminga, Kispert. Like, they don't even play Buddy Hield, but obviously he would play in the Raptors rotation. Like pretty much everybody on their team can shoot threes except one. And the guy, it doesn't even matter because it's like Dyson Daniels, like playing forward. Like if they need to, they can easily substitute him off and put some of the other guys in. It's like they got a lot of guys who could score. And that's just the Hawks. Who, again, I don't necessarily respect that much because the Raptors handled the Hawks earlier this season. But, it's, I guess it really is just like, it really is kind of just sinking into me, just like the difference in levels of talent. Because, I don't know. I mean, like, on one hand, I want to say I'm disappointed. Maybe I want to even say I'm a little surprised at how flat the Raptors came out tonight with. But, like, why should I be? Do you know what I mean? The Clippers are a pretty good team, and they're at home. And, outside of beating the Bulls recently, beating the Mavs, beating the Jazz, like, it's... Like, the Pistons game was great, and it was exciting to see. The comeback against the Suns was exciting to see. Of course, when they rematched against the Suns 30-piece us. But, it happens. Like, but, again, like, that just might be the level of the Raptors. And that's why I said a couple weeks ago, like, I thought, in a way, the Raps were getting a little bit boring. And maybe boring was the wrong word, but maybe predictable. Because it's like, at least if you're gonna watch a fight, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not really into like these like pugilistic sports, but like if you're gonna watch like a boxing match, or if you're gonna watch like a UFC event, like you at least want to see like, what I mean? If somebody's gonna be the heavy favorite and they're just gonna go in and dominate, like it gets a little bit boring. I mean, I don't know, unless you're watching like truly great fighters. Like I guess I would watch Mike Tyson knock someone out in round 1. That's great to see. But I just mean like in general, like you would at least hope to see the like, okay, this guy. There's some intrigue here, like it's gonna be a contest. It's not just gonna be a one-way traffic. And the Raps, like they kind of are who they are, right? Like when they play a decent team, a good team, they're kind of folding, and they have the same issues that they've had all year, which they can't handle physicality. I mean, the fourth quarter offense is an issue, which killed them in Denver. And tonight they didn't even get to a close game in the fourth quarter. But like, you know exactly how this team's gonna go, right? And that onto itself makes it like really like underwhelming to watch. Like it's like, I don't know, it's like watching House or something. Like you know he's gonna strut around and pop some pills and have some raunchy conversations with people and maybe be a little problematic. And at the end of the day, he's going to be like, oh, I got an epiphany and it's probably lupus, and then he's going to diagnose it. The guy's going to be fine. And then we're going to roll out for the next episode. Like that's the Raps. Like, there's no suspense in this. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, in that sense, like, it just kind of is, what it is. And, I think even though I've been trying to like fight it, even though I've been trying to like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'm like shouting into the wind in a certain way, but the results are pretty like they're in front of you. The Raptors, by the way, the Raptors lose tonight, 119-94. Scotty's laughing. Jakob's got, stitches over his eye. Brandon's just like floating around, and Mamu's giving a hug to Isaiah Jackson. Rocky's on the court trying to figure out what he's going to do for the next episode of Open Gym. Like, it just, like, I guess it just moves on. You know what I mean? Like, it's just another game. Raptors, kind of no-show. They'll try to bounce back, and they'll try to hold on to their playoff positioning. But, like, eventually it's like, to what end, right? Like, to what end? Like, I'm not saying that, like, it's not a young team can't go through some struggles. I hear it, but at a certain point, it's like we're trying so hard to get to the playoffs, so hard to make a top 6 position, and yeah, I mean, like I know this team's not going to do much against whoever they see in the first round. Like, and that's, again, no disrespect to this team, but they have just not given you a reason to think otherwise, to hope otherwise, right? So, So anyway, the Raptors lose tonight, and I'll update you with the score afterwards. But before we take your questions, and also, by the way, I know we got a lot of requests to watch more vintage Raptors moments. I'm more than happy to oblige. In fact, I got a couple queued up. Okay, But first, I want to let all Raptor fans out there know that you want suspense, you want the chance to win. Calling our Raptor fans, Lotto Max and the Raptors have officially launched their Max Contract Fan Contest, where one winner will be given the chance to call the shots and personalize their own prize pack worth $50,000. So what can you win? How about season tickets for next year, 2026, 2027, or courtside seats to 5 games? Hi, not Boccia. You can say that in person. Or how about a chance to attend all home playoff games this year? It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be many more than that. Visit the Raptors app to learn more and enter today. And don't forget to opt into our emails to hear about future chances to win. No purchases necessary. 18 plus Ontario only. Contest ends March 29th, 2026. Grand prize winner to select the prize from each of Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Visit the Toronto Raptors app for full contest details and rules and how to enter. You can also follow the link that'll be in the description of this episode after we're done recording here. So we're going to take your questions on the other side, and then we are going to take maybe some requests too to see some classic Raptors games. But first, a message from some beloved sponsors.
This segment is brought to you by Table Fare and Social. Get your pregame bites and after-work drinks at Table.
It's a great location, right across the street from the arena and just steps away from Union Station and the Metrolinx bus terminal.
Will, I love my wedge salad, but there's plenty of options at Table. What should we have next?
Oh, we could have salad for days, my friend.
Oh, you're talking about salad days? I love salad days, man. They got a different salad for every day of the week. You can never get tired of the options there.
Oh yeah, I heard about this place. This was your go-to lunch spot forever. You always said the lettuce was so crispy.
Man, it's so crispy and fresh, and now this can be your go-to meal before Raptors games.
I like that. Grab a pregame salad at Table Fare and Social right across from the arena. Oh, I would love a little salad right now for Table Fare and Social. A little late night nibble. I feel like salad would be a good option for that. Anyway, we're going to take your questions. Karem has been collecting them, and we'll get to the money first. And then, of course, if you got more suggestions for what classic Raptors moments, vintage Raptors moments to watch, I will be taking, let's say I'll take 2 requests. I got 2 in mind that I want us to watch. Actually, I got 3 in mind I want us to watch. Maybe I'll just take 1 request then. I don't want to make the show too long. Eventually, people want to go to sleep and stuff. But yeah, okay. Let's take your questions first. Karem, what do we got, man? All right, we got $20 from It's Hashim. Yesterday's points were made about how Scotty has a better field goal percentage than BI on long twos, and we should play through him more in crunch time. I just don't think he has it in him to be a consistent scorer. I don't know if it's skill set or mentality. Uh, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. To be honest, I did hear the arguments from Wolfon and Vivek, and I've lobbied for similar things. Again, like, I don't think it's like, you want Scotty to be the full-time closer and BI to just stand off to the side. I do think it's like sort of advocating maybe for more of a split. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess this idea has been brought up to, like, is it realistic for Scotty to both put in so much effort on the defensive end, but then also to score? And, like, yeah, like, I can see that. Like, obviously he's a human being, and, like, it does take a lot of energy to play defense the way he does, and he always has the hardest assignments, and he's rotating and doubling and rebounding and, covering up for a lot, typically, of what the Raptors, are lacking. But, I mean, at the same time, like, you can't tell me there aren't two-way players in the NBA that play at a really high level on both ends. Like, again, maybe it's just because I just watched the Celtics beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, but I saw Jaylen Brown actively seek out every single possession possible to defend Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And on the other end, he was also scoring like 30. Um, you know, based on tonight's game, it reminded me of the, Kawhi Leonard, which we saw obviously in Toronto at his very absolute peak. Played both ends of the floor. Wasn't like, oh man, Kawhi's not going to score tonight because, like, he's got the Jimmy Butler assignment. Kawhi, yeah, I can't expect him to score tonight because he got the Giannis assignment. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to defend him and I'm going to dominate on an offensive end. And I do think that, like, there isn't much of a track record of Scotty being like a takeover type of player, especially on a consistent basis. In college, in high school, I mean, I didn't watch him in high school, but, like, he played with Cade. But let's just say college, even in the 5 years we've seen with the Raptors, like, it's nice. I think he's capable of it, but I also just feel like his priority to me is to always play the team game, and there's just sometimes where you just need more than that, and you can hope for it, but you can't necessarily expect it. $5. Casual Raptor fan here. This team's core sucks, and I hate watching this team. Now, thank you for sending in $5 to say that. We know why I respect it. Okay, this is a democracy. You send in $5, you can come in and just say the team, is not fun to watch. Yeah, straight up, it was not fun to watch tonight. So, yeah. We got $2 from Omer. Jakob, how did you get blown by Brook Lopez? Hey, I think maybe phrasing could have been a little bit better in this one. I'm not just going to say that right now. I think you mean, like, Brook Lopez had a couple blow-bys against Jakob. Maybe just, like, stated in a different way. Other than Jakob, how did you get blown by Brook Lopez? But having said that, I hear you. Brook Lopez was certainly torching Yak early on, and I'm like, it's I don't know, man. I guess I hold on to these, like, old grudges because, like, I remember the good old days when the Raptors were good and we had rivalries with, like, the Bucks, and we had rivalries against, like, the Sixers and rivalries against, like, the Celtics. So, like, in my mind, I'm feel like that Japanese soldier that kept fighting after World War II ended. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, okay, like, when I see Brook Lopez, it's still on site. When I see Joel Embiid, I still, dislike him. When I see the Jays and Marcus Smart, I still dislike him. When I see LeBron, I still dislike him. And, like, my enduring memory of Brook Lopez is the clip where Brook Lopez is warming up at Scotiabank Arena in one of the games at the conference finals, and there's just the two Raptor fans heckling him like crazy, being like, "You are horrible," or like the guy yelling, "Get in the painted area." Like, that's where I'm still at when I see Brook Lopez. And so when I see Brook Lopez and who, by the way, he's like got to be 38, 39 at this point, right? Hold on. How old is Brook Lopez, man? Like, Brook Lopez is so old, he played at the Izod Center. Brook Lopez is 37. Honestly, surprisingly young. But yeah, he's 37. Do you know what I mean? But if you looked at how he moved versus how Yak moved tonight, like, Yak looked 37 and Brook Lopez looked like a 30-year-old tonight. So, but again, like, it's such a luxury, like, he's a rim protecting 3-point shooting center. It's so rare, man. So rare. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I still have the old rivalries in mind because, like, maybe I'll try to find that video too. But it really is like, yeah, getting cooked by a 37-year-old, bro. Like, come on, man. If you get cooked by a 37-year-old, it should be like Steph. It should be like KD. It should be LeBron. Like, Brook Lopez cooking at 37. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway. Another 5 from Omer. Man, why is Scotty playing like a Jamaican Kyle Anderson? I don't know. I mean, like, the thing is, it's not just on Scotty, right? Like, it's on other guys too. But at the same time, it's his team, and it's his team, and then after that, it's Brandon's team, and then whoever else you want to say is the rest of the responsibilities. But they're clearly the top 2, right? 2 All-Stars, everything like that. Scotty's been here the longest, and neither guy could really have any influence on this game look, Scotty did have like 12 assists and 8 rebounds and 9 points, but I mean, like, I don't know, like, did he bend the defense as much as Kawhi did? Did he protect the rim as good as Brook Lopez did? Did he, just generate offense out of thin air like Benedict Mathurin and Darius Garland did tonight? It's like, no, so I think it's realistic to say that. I'm not even trying to knock him. And then Brandon was just like 18 empty points. You know what I mean? Like, again, it had no impact. Another $8. This is Australian dollars from Barry. That was a yuck performance. Feel sorry for you Canadians having to stay up for that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess people don't have. Do people not work in the morning? Like, no one needs to work on Thursday. Hey, it's none of my business. It doesn't really matter to me, But yeah, for me, I'm just like, let's start the pod early so that we can all go to sleep a little earlier. And I think it's a good decision. So I appreciate you guys. Another $2 from Samuel. I'm too annoyed to sleep. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, if the Raptors, like, if you watch the Raptors till the very end and they cheese you like this, it's just like, what are you really going to do about it? You know what I mean? Like, trust me, there's some weird nights where I have to remind myself, I have to check myself and be like, you know what? Is it reasonable as an adult human being to go to sleep a little angry because of how a basketball team did? That has nothing necessarily to do with me. It's an attachment that I've chosen to give one way. But yeah, sometimes I go to bed angry too, looking at the Raps. So you're not alone on this, Samuel. Also, we got $2 here from Mike. How many blowout losses do we have to endure? I mean, I think it's not necessarily just the blowout losses. It's just kind of like similar patterns coming in. Like, again, like tonight, the Clippers were like, okay, we're gonna ignore Jamal Shed. We're gonna, sag off of Yaka. We're gonna send a double at Brandon Ingram, be physical with them, force him to turn the ball over. We're gonna let RJ shoot. He couldn't shoot. We're gonna. I mean, even with Scotty, it just wasn't aggressive on offense. So it's like, all right, we don't even have to worry about him too much. And then, yeah, okay, off the bench, who are we really worried about? Like, CMB, cool. He's gonna roll for a couple layups, but ultimately it's fine. Jacoby, he's going to be in foul trouble, so it doesn't even become a factor. Markelle Fultz just arrived. He's not a factor. Sandro, he hit some outside shots. Okay, all right, cool. Maybe we just run him off, but it's not game-changing. Like, what I mean? It's like actually like relatively easy for a team like the Clippers to prepare for the Raptors. And by the way, I got to say, the Clippers have a really good coaching staff. Like, Ty Lue's a fantastic coach, And then on top of it, it's not enough is being made about the fact that Jeff Van Gundy is going back to basketball coaching after so many years. Like, how did he feels like he took like a decade off at least just to be on ESPN with like Mike Breen and Mark Jackson, and how many NBA Finals games did we see him there? And him like being flabbergasted at Rihanna. You know what I mean? Like, it's like Jeff Van Gundy spent his whole life in basketball, And he is an excellent basketball mind. He's got great personality. Um, he's again been part of so many winning teams, but like you just figure like once a person does media, they rarely go back, and not just go back. Like obviously we've seen like Doc Rivers, for example, he started doing media and then he went back. But it's like, okay, the Bucks gave him a ton of money to be the head coach, and he's still coaching Giannis and Dame. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess I'll go back for that. But like Jeff Van Gundy going back just to be an assistant coach, and you see how fired up he is. He's standing up the whole time. I was watching the first half, and the Clippers defense was in front of the Clippers bench, and Jeff Van Gundy was up calling the rotations, the scheming, the aggressiveness, and I'm just like, this guy must love hoop, man. Like I think I gave Markelle Fultz a lot of prop for coming back and playing, even after all the injuries, even after all that he's, all the money he's made and all the accomplishments he's had, just to come back on a 10-day and play in the G League. That's basically what I feel about Jeff Van Gundy. Like, credit to Jeff Van Gundy, man. He is like, you can never question his love of the game. And for him to come back at this big age, still be so involved with a middling Clippers team and trying to force every little bit out of them. I mean, he even won a beef with CP3 earlier this year, right? Part of the reason CP3 got taken out of there was Chris Paul was trying to be like, yo, we should run the defense like this. And Jeff Van Gundy's like, how about you shut up, man? You're a 40-year-old, assistant coach. Effectively at this point, we're basically equals. In fact, I outrank you as the lead assistant. And he won the beef against Chris Paul, who's a franchise icon. So I respect Jeff Van Gundy like crazy for coming back. That's all. Another 5 from Omer. Raptors offseason 2026. Sign Mamu to the full mid-level, healthy Pirtle. Quote, believe in this team, believe in yourself. Come on now. You can't screw up that iconic Masai quote, man. Come on. Believe in yourself. Believe in this city. That's what it is, okay? By the way, I did misspeak. I want to correct something I said on the last React pod. But the salary cap is not going down. It's the projection of the jump that has gone down. So it's not going to increase by as much. But as I said previously, early in the season, like there was a widespread expectation that the Raptors would have more wiggle room to sign Mamu because the salary cap was expected to jump another 10 million. I think the luxury tax is going to be 200 million next year. I think right now it's like 188 million. So like you take some of that extra bit of room that's like baked into the league's revenue share expanding, and you give some of that money to Mamu. So yeah. Anyway, I misspoke. The cap is not going down. The cap's not going down. Mike sends in $5. Darko isn't a head coach. Will God love him because he's a great assistant coach, but he shouldn't be a head coach. I think he's done a lot of good things. I don't think it's entirely fair. But at the same time, I've also had critiques about Darko in the past, and sometimes they have not gone well. They don't get well received, but that's really my own problem to deal with. But I share some reservations as well. I certainly have lots of complaints, but I don't know. He's a head coach. He's a head coach because he's getting paid to be a head coach. As much as Scotty is my favorite player, he lacks focus and the aggressive desire to score and be a superstar. I mean, I don't know. I even without psychoanalyzing it, because again, like I don't know him, you guys don't know him. We know him from watching through a screen or even watching him in person. In my case, I've talked to him a decent amount too. But realistically, it's like it's funny because like there will be times where like objectively players who are worse than Scotty will still be more aggressive than Scotty. Like there's some of those on his own team, quite frankly. Like RJ. I mean, Brandon has more scoring ability, but even their efficiency is like not that different. But obviously, I'll give them Brandon should be more aggressive because like Brandon's just better offensively, especially at the scoring portion. But like you look at like the Clippers tonight, like Mathurin. Like Matherin's not a better player than Scotty Barnes. Mathurin just got traded. He's probably going to get extended for like I don't know, maybe somewhere between $15 and $20 million a year. But like. There's even role players that get more aggressive. Like I just watched Peyton Pritchard, for example. Like he's way more aggressive than Scotty, So I don't know. And it's look, he does more defensively. He does the overall game, the defense. I think I really liked hearing Will Hardy on the Utah Jazz, the head coach, he had a nice perspective on Scotty, and he lavished him praise, and he's like, the box score doesn't capture his whole impact, and he's a phenomenal team player, and I agree with that 100% wholeheartedly, but yeah. I think there's those special games where he really elevates and just like puts the team, and just like I'm thinking about like the Warriors game, the one that they won in OT, like how special he was in that one with 26 rebounds. Like, the ones where like Scotty's like gets up for it like entirely, and those ones are really fun. But it's, I mean, like how many? I mean, this is like a very like. It's just one way to judge, but it's like how many 30-point games has he had this year, right? The Raptors have had like lots of struggles scoring offensively this year. Does Scotty have? Before I look it up, I'm gonna guess he has 3 30-point games this season, right? But I'm gonna look it up. He has 4. Okay, yeah, he has 4. Okay, that's not bad. He had a 30 ball. Against the Hornets, the one that they lost in OT. He played fantastic in that one. That was a really good one. They blew it, but it wasn't because of him. He had 31 in the overtime win over Philadelphia. He had 31 in the loss to the Rockets at the start of the season, and then he had 33 at the start of the year against Dallas. So this means that he hasn't scored more than 30 since November 29th, right? We're currently about to round the corner into April. There's players in this league that average 30. There's multiple players in the league that average 30 this year. Shea's over 30. Luka's over 30. There's guys that are close to a point of a minute, like Embiid. Obviously, he doesn't play as much, but like it is one of the separating factors. It just is, and it's hard. It's hard to ask for everything, but that's what we do with stars. We ask for everything, Another $3 Aussie from Barry. This team needs a 905 coach. Listen, I think Drew Jones will be a coach in the NBA, and I think once he gets to become a coach in the NBA, it's gonna be a bit of a shock at first because again, like he's so in your face, he's so passionate, he's like on top of the referees, he's on top of his players, he's but like I think his approach will work. And I've never even gotten a chance to really speak too much to him, but I've watched him operate with the 905. I've watched a decent amount of 905 games this year. It's kind of impossible not to notice this guy. He also gives like incredible post-game talks as well. Actually, I think I just happened to share one because I was watching the last Open Gym episode, and I saw the speech that he gave recently. And did I delete it? I don't think I deleted it. Did I? Hopefully I can find this just to post the locker room. I guess I tweeted it out, so I guess I could share that. But like, yeah, like he's what he was saying was like speaking directly into my soul in certain ways, And he was talking to his 905 team, obviously, because they are on the cusp of making the playoffs, and but he wants them to sort of strive for more. Here's I'll just show you I'll show you this, and you can judge it for yourself. Okay.
Earn the right to be confident, but nobody earns the right to be entitled. Nobody earns the right to be comfortable, ever. Right? Despite the amount of success that each and every one of us has, like there's no entitlement and there's no comfort. None. Those get you beat, those get you killed. Understand that. Know what we're fighting for. You guys earned the right to be confident. We're a playoff team now. But that's the floor. That's the floor. What's the ceiling for us? A G League what? Championship. Let's not forget what happened in Orlando. Let's not forget that. For the guys that were here, let's not forget what happened in Summer League. Isaac Jones, 36 points, 13 for 17, 9 for 11 at the line. Almost every one of them in our paint. Let's not forget that. I haven't. Soft teams settle. That's what they do. Not us. Great teams separate. Are we going to settle today? We're happy we're in? Or are we going to separate? That's going to be our challenge. That's going to be our mentality. Let's see what one come out with tonight. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. earned the right to be.
Yeah, again, like for people who maybe may have missed a portion of it, I think the biggest thing that he said, which was I thought really well said, was we're a playoff team now, but that's the floor. Soft teams settle. That's what they do, not us. Great teams separate. Are we going to settle today, be happy we're in, or are we going to separate? And like, I don't know. This is not like a one-off. Like he does this like pretty much every game. You know what I mean? But like, yeah. Anyway, this is nothing to. I'm not trying to say this as like a. I'm not trying to like, contrast this with Darko. I'm not doing this other than just saying that like I'm really rooting for Drew Jones to get a chance. Obviously not just as an assistant, not just as a G League coach, but to coach at the highest levels, man. Like when I hear him speak, he sounds like a leader of men. So, yeah. Relying on fast break points to win games is not a winning formula against good teams. I mean, yeah. But how many years in a row have we stuck with this, right? Because this was kind of like the undoing of like the old Raps too. Like, like rookie year Scotty, second year Scotty, those teams with Pascal, Fred, OG. We're basically just like Vision 6-9 ball was basically like we can't shoot threes, but we're going to try to force turnovers and supplement on the fast break. It's like, all right, well. Not sure why Darko benched Jacoby with foul trouble. Worst case scenario, bench player fouls out. Oh well, he's your hottest shooter and a solid defender. Play him. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like when IQ was out today, I thought there was a real chance that they would have started Jacoby instead of Jamal. I know that you would typically go point guard for point guard, but it kind of led to like an issue because you didn't really have strong point guard play off your bench either. Like you have Markelle. But like he literally just got there, right? So like, how much is he really going to be running the show for you? Like it's understandable that he would struggle. But like I thought Jacoby, especially considering how well he's been shooting, you can't really help off of him right now. Versus if you do leave him out there, like if you put Jamal out there, for example, you could probably stash like Darius Garland on him, so Garland gets to rest on defense because he doesn't guard anybody, or in this case, they had a lot of Chris Dunn on him as well, and Chris Dunn could just like freely roam off of him, and Chris Dunn is a menace on the defensive end. Anyway, my point is just like there's no drop off defensively between Jamal and Jacoby. They're both good. I would even argue Jacoby's a little bit better. Jacoby's definitely the better offensive player right now, and it's like, why start Jamal then instead of that? And of course, like Garland obviously cooked Jamal like easily. Jamal missed some open threes that contributed to the Raptors' slow start. Like, it's not on Jamal. Like, but Jamal's really involved. That's because the defense wanted him to have the ball as much as possible. And then even on the matchup against Brook Lopez, like I thought, I don't know. I mean, the rotations got out of whack because like Yak took an elbow from Matherin and had to get stitched up. And credit to Yak for playing through that and finishing out the second half. But I don't know. I looked at the matchup and I'm like, weirdly enough, like, wouldn't you want Mamu out there with him? You know what I mean? Mamu can pull the shot blocker out the paint so that there's more room for Scotty to operate. Again, like if you put Yak out there, you're begging Brook Lopez to do what he does best in the defensive end, which is to essentially do like nonstop 3-second violations that take away the paint. So this isn't even like just Monday morning quarterbacking. I'm just like going into the game plan didn't even make sense. Like you have so many non-shooters against the Clippers who are so good at help defense. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Next question. Should the Raptors trade back for Kawhi Leonard? Yeah, of course, man. Are you kidding me? Kawhi's playing like a top 5 player in the league, man. Yes, I'd take Kawhi back under any circumstances. I'll take Kawhi back when he's 40. I'll take Kawhi back when he's 45. I don't care. Darko does on the defensive bailout schemes that Nurse had. Certainly not like the level of creativity, I gotta say. Look, tonight, I don't know if like Nick coaches them to a win either. Like I'm not putting this loss on Darko, but I think with Nick, like Nick was always famous for like having multiple, like a lot of defensive schemes and a lot of creativity that this was like even ahead of the curve. I mean, and Nick is obviously a little like full of himself, but at the same time, I remember asking Nick once, like, hey, your team's facing a lot of zone defense. Like, what do you make about all the zone defenses in the league, right? That's, becoming more trendy and popular. And he's like, well, Will, who do you think started playing so much zone? basically, acknowledging that he kind of like brought zone back into vogue, and he kind of did. He brought a lot of things back into vogue. Like, Raptors played the Warriors with a box and one, famously in the finals. You look ahead, and when the Warriors won, a lot of the defensive coverages were box and one, which is like, that is a very cool thing that you left championship residue on an existing champion, right? The Warriors already won 3 chips. They could have won their 4th in 2019 against the Raptors. The Raptors stopped them. And then they went on to win a couple years later in 2022 by using some of the strategies that they adopted off of you. That's cool, man. Like, if the smartest kid in class is copying off of you, that means you did something really smart, And you look at the Raps, like, there was a couple games ago, I forget which game, but the Raptors went to zone for a couple possessions, and I was like, oh, well, that's interesting, because, like, the Raps never play zone. Most of what, I mean, it's not the right the Raptors don't have anything creative. Like when they played the Nuggets, for example, they put Scotty on Jokic, they put, Jakob on Aaron Gordon, they put RJ on Jamal, and the idea was they could switch at least in theory, they could switch to the Jamal and Jokic pick and roll, because you trust RJ's strength maybe to hold up, Jokic just enough, and you have Jakob helping off of Gordon and Scotty, and honestly, they played the Nuggets well. They could have won that game. Of course, the Raptors blew in the 4th quarter like they typically do. So it's not to say that like there's never anything creative, but it's very notable, because it used to be like the rule that the Raptors were going to play funky, and now it's the exception. But again, like whatever, you could have played whatever scheme tonight. The Raps just didn't have it tonight. I'm not. This wasn't on the coach. Tonight, but. Certainly it wasn't helping. 1-3 on the road trip is tough. They're actually 2-3 while they were on the road trip. They did start by being Chicago. But anyway, this team is headed to the play-in. I don't care if they have an easier schedule at the end of the season. I don't even know if they have an easier schedule at the end of the season. I just keep seeing tough teams. Jam-packed in the East from the 5th seed to the 10th. Yeah, I mean, even like Philadelphia starting to turn it around recently. And like Philly, like I think they got Embiid back tonight, and Paul George, I think, was out there. I guess his suspension is over. But like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they were winning games with just like VJ Edgecombe. He's a rookie and he's having like 35 points. It's like, damn. I mean, Philly got really lucky last year because they tanked and then they moved up in the lottery. So like, they got a lot of good fortune. But like, I don't know, man. When was the last rookie for the Raptors to have 35 points? And by the way, this is like, I mean, again, even speaking of VJ Edgecombe, right? I mean, look, we did the thing where Scotty has 4 30-point games this year. I think VJ Edgecombe might have like as many 30-point games. Edgecombe. I don't know what he did tonight yet, but let me look up the season. Because he started the opening night with the 30-point game. So he had 3 30-point games. But yeah, he started opening night with 34 against Boston. Like that's hell of an impressive rookie, man. Very, very impressive rookie. And it's crazy because I was watching his tape coming out of Baylor, and maybe it's just the way that Baylor runs their players, because like, to be fair, Keontae George, who's, turned into like a very good offensive player, didn't look that dynamic either playing for Baylor. And I watched VJ Edgecombe, and I'm like, it feels like a kind of a 3-and-D guy. Man, the level of offense that he's gotten to in the NBA at an early level, that was supposed to be a limitation for him, and he's just playing great right off the gate. So anyway, what did VJ have tonight? Because I think the Sixers won again tonight. They won for Kyle Lowry. Shouts to Kyle Lowry with the happy birthday, Kyle Lowry. Oh, they were playing the Bulls, so whatever. But yeah, they had 157 points against the Bulls. And what did VJ have tonight? VJ had 22. Oh, you only had to play 30 minutes, so there you go. Oh, we had 22 on 9 shots? Damn. Impressive stuff. What do you guys think about the usage at this time of year? Should we be loading the starters and shortening up the bench? I mean, that's the thing. Like, I feel like Darko's trying to do that. In recent games, we've seen him shorten the rotation to 8 guys. I thought maybe, he would do more of that. But I even explicitly went down to practice and asked him about it. He said, I was like, hey, you've shortened the rotation to 8 guys. Like, is this kind of a new thing for you? And he's like, no. He was like very quickly to be like, no, this is not going to be this is just, it just so happened. This wasn't planned. And we're going to extend the rotation back out again. And obviously we've seen that rotation expand out recently. But it's like, I mean, yeah, I guess like he put his foot down and took Grady out of the rotation, and Bobby made his life a little easier by trading Ochai away for TJD, who he hasn't played. And, occasionally he's like, all right, I'm going to play 8. But, like, I don't know. I don't. To be honest, I don't think I think he's one of those coaches that really, really hates limiting the rotation. I think he probably believes much more in being able to play a deeper rotation so the guys are fresher and then they can play better on the defensive end. And I suppose on the offensive end too. But I think the Raptors not being good on offense is not down to freshness. It's down to the lack of ability. So. Is this RJ's last season here? Considering his performances for the past 2.5 years, he's kind of been the same player with little to no improvement. I mean, I think it depends. I think like there's two versions of RJ. Like basically when RJ's scoring well, he's like very essential to the team, and then when he isn't scoring well, he kind of doesn't do that much else. So like the floor is pretty low with him. Like to be honest, he has a bit of the same issue that Brandon has. I like RJ's spirit. I like RJ as a person. I'd like to, I mean, he's also shooting. Well, I mean, tonight's not is going to bring him down, but coming into this game, he was shooting 50% from the field and 36% from three. He might actually be one of the Raptors' higher efficiency guys. He's at 59% true shooting this year. If I just looked at it, okay, obviously tonight's numbers will alter this slightly, but of course we're very deep into the season, so the sample is quite large. But if we just look at the Raptors' top scorers by true shooting percentage, because obviously role players are going to be whatever, but like RJ's true shooting is at 59.3. That's higher than IQ's at 57.9. Scotty's at 57.7. And then Brandon's at 56.8. So it's marginally ahead, but it's actually ahead of the other main scorers who are volume guys who create for themselves. It's just like, but again, like if you're going to ask him to be a main creator for you, I do think that does limit the overall effectiveness of your team. And then B, I don't think the Raptors want that. I think the Raptors would rather sort of turn him into like maybe a more two-way player who, doesn't score as much, but defends better and maybe, does some other stuff better. But like you can do that, sure, and I've said that like I'm not like saying he's untouchable and you can never trade him, but I do feel like you need to bring in some scoring to supplement because like where's the scoring going to come from? Like you don't have any scoring from your backup point guard. Scotty obviously very occasional scorer. Brandon less than reliable in terms of a number one guy. IQ can go hot and cold. Like it's not like the Raptors could just say we're gonna RJ's offense is surplus to requirement. I mean, again, I just read you the numbers. He's actually more efficient than all the other main scorers on the team, and we're basically like trying to ship him out as quickly as possible. So, before we take more questions, because I do sense the tenor of the show going in a direction that maybe I wasn't intentionally going into it with, but I want to remind everybody that you guys can make the chill choice. Okay, on nights like this, Raptors getting clapped by the Clippers, Raptors getting toyed around with by Darius Garland, you might feel that little twinge of annoyance, and that's where you're like, you know what, I'm going to open that fridge. Of course, I had the wherewithal, I had the foresight to toss a couple Coors Light into the fridge. I'm looking at the cans. Ooh, those beautiful cans. They've turned blue on the mountaintops. That means the beer is as cold and refreshing as the Rockies themselves. And so when the game heats up, when the game starts to annoy you a little bit because the Raps are kind of losing again, why not make that chill choice by grabbing a crisp, refreshing Coors Light? Find Coors Light near you. Visit CoorsLightShop.ca. Celebrate responsibly, and you must be of legal drinking age. All right, we'll take a couple more questions, but I also just want to go watch some old vintage Raptors moments because it'll be pretty fun. It'll be pretty fun. I seriously don't think the Raptors played a bad game. The urgency and energy was there. They just couldn't make open shots to save their lives. Meanwhile, the Clippers' big three couldn't miss. Nathan Y. I think Darko might have said something very similar, actually. This sounds exactly what Darko would say. It's just, it's a make or miss league, and unfortunately tonight we couldn't make our shots. And we'll just keep it moving, I like Wolfon's point about not getting Scotty more involved in inverted pick and rolls. He can attack those smaller players. Yeah, I mean, this is, again, like, this is not some sort of, like, a groundbreaking thing. I don't think Wolfon is out here, proclaiming that the world is round and getting burned at the stake like Nicholas Copernicus. But, like, he's what is he suggesting, really? It's like that's what the Raptors used to do in the past for Kawhi, for Pascal, for DeMar, with Kyle screening. That's what, the Bucks used to do for Giannis. That's what teams used to do for LeBron, right? It's a very common strategy, and yeah, I don't know. Of course, a lot of it will require Scotty to be like incredibly aggressive and want to attack every single game and be in the mood for it. But yeah, I don't know. One way to put him in the mood for it is to put him in the central action all the time. So, have I ever asked Darko why he doesn't save his challenge for the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter? I know it annoys you as much as it annoys me. I think I've asked Darko in the past about the challenge and like just generally what the strategy is. I guess he's not gonna like just explicitly say it, especially on record. It's kind of like what play you're gonna run next. You know what I mean? You obviously like there is some value in not saying that out loud. But yeah, I certainly think that regardless of sort of what his answer is, I don't really care for it. I really just want to see a good use of it tonight. I think he actually won at least one challenge, maybe two. He got the Brandon block on Kawhi early in the game. But again, like yeah, there's a lot of low leverage challenges that happens. The problem moving forward is where's the upside going to come from? Sure, Jacoby or CMB might become a starting caliber player, but does that change the ceiling? I think the upside comes from the Raptors and how they're able to make some trades involve like a more sizable trade. Let's say I mean, look, they kind of have a small window that they have carved out for themselves, right? Like Brandon signed for this year and next year. And then after that, there's a player option. Basically, it's like a natural point for the team to sort of decide, are we going to keep moving forward with Brandon or not? And this current core with the group. At that point, you know, IQ's contract will be nearing an end. RJ probably will be off the roster at that point. Like, I think the big thing is like, what kind of move can the Raptors make to add a third like consequential player around Scotty and Brandon? Who that player is, how available it is, what the price is. I think the Raptors probably got to put in like probably 1 or 2 picks into it too, and that'll kind of decide the fate of this entire group. And if it doesn't materialize, then I guess the decision is kind of made for you because the team as is not that good or even that particularly promising, you know. And that's not me being pessimistic. I think that's just me stating the obvious in many ways, you know. Benedict Matherin's a future all-star in the league. We'll see. I like Matherin. He's an aggressive scorer for sure, but all-star level, I don't know. He seems like a future 6th man of the year. That's for sure. IQ could have actually been game-changing tonight to match Garland's space and shiftiness. Still would have been hard, but Shed-led offense, ain't it? Yeah, I mean, he certainly would have done a lot better than Jamal. Jamal kind of did nothing out there, but I don't know, man. Garland was nasty, bro. He was shooting like half-court shots. It is what it is. Theory, other front offices don't want to deal with Bobby because they got fleeced too many times by him, so it's harder to trade now, maybe. Oh, I don't know about that. I wouldn't know about that. I think there's like some thought out there that the Raptors are a hard team to trade with because like they ask for a lot, but like I don't know, man. In fact, when I hear that as a Raptor fan, I'm like, that's good, actually. I want my GM to be out there making the best possible move for me, right? But I don't think that's the case. And who was the last team the Raptors fleeced? You know what I mean? Like, even the Pelicans deal, that was super fair for Brandon Ingram. It's not like the Pelicans got ripped off. Even the Spurs trade, like, yeah, the Kawhi thing, but it's like, I mean, Raptors gave them 2 extra firsts in future trades to make up for it almost, so. Actually amazing how much Scotty hasn't grown since his rookie season. Winning Rookie of the Year is one of the worst things that could have ever happened. Convince us to build around him and scrap our championship squad. Dog, what is this? A conversation from 2023? Damn, we traveled back in time, man. I don't know about all that. On the flip side, if the Raptors didn't take Scotty and went with a different player at that time, what would the group look like? I don't know. Like, who was picked after Scotty was like Scotty at 4, Suggs at 5. Would be a better team with Suggs? I don't think so. Will be a better team with Franz Wagner? I don't think so. Will be a better team with, I mean, Şengün's not even realistic because he was so far down the line. Kuminga, I think Raptors taking Scotty at 4, moving up in the draft that year, it's all good. Like, in fact, if we didn't, I don't know. I think on the flip side, it's like you got to be a little grateful. Like, if we don't even have Scotty, like, where is this team? This is genuinely one of the worst teams in the league, right? So, you know. Wait, Mo Salah leaving Liverpool? Oh, brother, man. Am I not having a hard enough night? You got to bring this up too. Yeah, I mean, I guess we all kind of knew it was coming. Sucks that Mo is also leaving on a free as well. We've lost, what, in consecutive years, we lost Sadio Mane, then Bobby Firmino, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and now Mo Salah, like 4 icons of the club. Lost in, Jurgen Klopp left in that stretch too. I don't know. We're obviously closer to the end for Virgil as well. It's just like, brother, it's been a nasty couple years. Oh, another twist of the knife from fellow Liverpool fan Karem. 2026 Raptors to 2026 Liverpool. It's a bad year to wear red. Raptors trying to hold on for the playoffs. Liverpool's trying to hold on in the Champions League. I'll still go with Liverpool. Liverpool got better players than the Raptors. All due respect, I got to root for some really good players, even though they're underperforming, but they're still amazing players. Raps, I might even argue, are slightly overperforming. Anyway, late to class. So instead of trading picks, they're just going to keep them and draft busts instead of trading for an impact player that can help right now. I think they will look for make a trade. I mean, I don't think that's fair. I think that I'd predict the Raptors hold on to their pick this year, use it. And then I think that they'll try to make a trade. Actually, there's a chance the Raptors might trade their pick this year too. I'm not entirely sure. I got to look ahead to the draft first. But I think the next move for the Raps is they're going to trade some firsts along with like RJ and Grady and try to get like a very consequential player. I don't know. I know we can't get prime Drew, but who's a point guard that can run an offense and defend well? The Raptors could target in the offseason. I mean, hey, if Suggs is going to be available, guys. I feel like Suggs is going to be available. Orlando's very expensive. They're not going to move Paolo. They're probably not going to move off of Franz, considering he just had a very injured year. So I don't really see like teams chomping at the bit to trade for his max contract. They got to extend Anthony Black, and he deserves it because he's playing really well this year outside the injuries. And I know Suggs is their heart and soul, but it's like they can't afford everybody, man. So if he becomes available, they also traded for Desmond Bane, of course. So yeah, if he becomes available, that could be very interesting. I mean, Suggs is just not healthy, but yeah. I see the streets saying Nemhard. I've loved Nemhard as well, but Nemhard's not. I mean, as much as I love Andrew, and obviously he's a friend of the program, shouts to Andrew, but like I don't think he's not impactful enough to be that third guy on the Raps. Even though I think he'd be an improvement, but Derek White's the answer. Yeah, but like I don't know. I mean, what were the rumors in the offseason? The Raptors try to call, about swapping Derek White for RJ Barrett and the first that became Colin Murray Boyles. Like, would that have made the Raptors better long term? I don't. It would have made the Raptors better short term. There's no doubt. Derek White is a much better player than RJ, but like, I don't know. We gotta lose Colin in that as well, and plus Boston's not giving rid of Derek White. They're contending, so. Yeah, it's not an effort thing. It's a talent thing. No shooters. I think it compounds. Like the lack of shooters makes you more pessimistic. All right, guys, forget the questions, okay? Forget the questions. We're going to go and watch some vintage Raptors highlights because, I think people liked that last time. And, Krem, I don't know if anybody had any suggestions for what to watch. Oh, can we get some T-Ross highlights? You know what? We will watch some Terrence Ross highlights. But first, I like to sort of go back in time and school you youngins on, older memories of the Raptors. No, we're not going to go to Damon Stoudemire, okay? Like, we don't even have footage from those times. I'm limited to what I can share with you on YouTube. Okay, first, what we're going to watch here is a moment that I remember distinctly watching this game in a Swiss chalet in Etobicoke. I was probably 9 or 10 years old. But it is Donyell Marshall hitting 12 threes. Donyell Marshall recently came up on the program. I quizzed my friends on can you name all the number 4 overall picks that have played for the Raptors. And of course, everyone knows about, Scotty Barnes and Chris Bosh. But Donyell Marshall, man, very, very talented player in his day. I might add, I think he might have been better in today's league as compared to back then. But for people who don't know, the 3-point record in terms of most threes in a game was held for the longest time by 2 players, Kobe Bryant, which makes complete sense, and then also Donyell Marshall, who went nuts in a game against the Sixers one year. So here's that game.
Here's Daniel left unattended.
Bang!
Nice job by Mo Peterson to get that ball up the floor quickly.
Woo! Daniel.
His second triple.
Yo, he's wide open in all of these, man. Driving kick. Daniel in the open in the corner again. TJ. Oh, that was Ray for Alston with the headband. Corner. Oh, that's a great contest. He still made it, though.
Chuck, that's amazing.
That's number 6.
Yo, he's made 6 corner threes in a row. This is unbelievable. Oh, give and go with Mo Pete at the top. Bang.
Daniel Marshall.
How are they still leaving him open?
Marshall for the franchise record. There it is. It'll be on Sports Center. Ring it up. Daniel Marshall. Peterson.
Oh, in the corner.
Marshall. That is a franchise record.
Oh my, yo, how do they keep leaving him open in the corner? This is incredible.
This ball game is over.
Oh, classic call.
Marshall again. That's it. Get out of here. Daniel Marshall, a career high 38. Daniel Marshall has been spectacular.
12 of 18.
12 of 18 from 3, guys. 12 of 18 from 3, man. Daniel Marshall, legitimately a legendary performance. Yeah, honestly, he was, for people who don't know, he was this was the golden age of power forwards, right? So, you had, Dirk, you had, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Chris Webber, Rasheed Wallace. Every team had a great power forward, basically. And, Chris Bosh was in that stretch, too, obviously, in Toronto. Amari Stoudemire, even towards the end, Blake Griffin, Kevin Love, LaMarcus Aldridge, throw David West in there, although he wasn't necessarily at that level. I don't know, it was just a golden age for power forwards, and so he didn't necessarily stand out as much, but Daniel Marshall at 6'10", could shoot the 3, could play inside as well, could block shots, damn, man. And also, look at some of the rosters that are out there, Chris Webber's on there for the Sixers. Kyle Korver, you see him in the corner there. That's Kyle Korver there. Allen Iverson, Ray for Alston's playing point guard for the Raptors with Matt Bonner and Mo Pete. Man, fun times, man. And you don't understand. Back then, we can't hold on to wins. You know what I mean? This is a couple years after Vince left. Raptors were a 20, 25 win team. Kobe had just dropped 81 on them. It's just you had to hold on to these one-offs just to sort of cherish these little moments. And also, shouts to Kyle Korver, bro. This guy wearing the baggiest jeans, and he got high socks, and he got a knee guard. There's no part of his leg that is not exposed. I'm crying at this, man. Yeah. Great performance. And also, I don't understand how they kept letting him open for 3. It's kind of incredible. Also, at a certain point, Samuel Dellenberg was out there. And this is the thing I want to say, too, is just, even Canadian basketball. Canadian basketball, we're so spoiled now. But, bro, Canadian basketball back then, Sammy D was, legitimately our... there's Sammy D in the corner right there. The Haitian, from Montreal. But, he... that's... that was, our best NBA player for a while, too. Him or Big Cat, So... Anyway, shouts to Daniel Marshall. I'm happy that you were a Raptor, and it genuinely, I think people always sort of talk about which player would have been better in today's NBA versus the previous NBA. Daniel Marshall, absolutely one of those guys for me, man. He would easily be like a better Miles Turner in today's game. By the way, I think we also mentioned. We also mentioned another one of my favorites from back in that era. And shouts to this person who I've recognized their videos. Longer keeps making these highlight packs, and I keep enjoying them. But it is not actually Chris Bosh in this highlight pack. It is actually none other than Jorge Garbajosa, who was a 28-year-old rookie who came to the NBA. Obviously, this was during Brian Colangelo's incredible first couple of years as Raptors GM. He had kind of like the Midas touch in terms of signing international players, and Jorge Garbajosa from Spain played for Team Spain for so long. He's actually the Spanish Basketball Federation president right now. But yeah, Jorge Garbajosa coming in as a Raptor, and like him as a rookie started basically from that first season. Raptors won 47 games, and he was like he made the all rookie team. I think second team as like a 28-year-old. He's like the oldest rookie possible. But anyway, yeah, let's watch some Garbo highlights. Kabosh! Also, shouts to Chuck Swirsky, man. He really hyped up some like really, really bad Raptors teams and made them exciting. Oh, here we go. Ooh. Come on, man. Yep. Oh, what? Mid-range and one. Okay. From the three? Yep, easy. Honestly, Jorge Garbajosa would be a nice player in today's league as well. I mean, he's like a perfect role player. Like, he can drive it a little bit. He's strong enough to guard multiple positions. In today's league, he probably play 4 instead of playing like 3 back then, like the league was bigger. But he could shoot the 3 as well. Like not a tremendous athlete, but was big enough to pretty much do whatever you needed of him. Very physically tough. Could guard. Like he would be. I mean, again, he would be another guy that would be good on today's Raptors team. Actually, in terms of like vision 6'9" or whatever, like he was more 6'8", but like. Yeah, like this type of skill set is very valuable in today's league. I don't know why the music is so loud. I'm gonna turn that down. What did you say about su madre? Hold on now. But yeah, Garbajosa was nice, man. He was a nice player, and he was a crucial piece of that team. And of course, I'm never gonna show you this, but one of the worst memories as a Raptor fan is him in Boston. When he broke his when he broke his leg. It is genuinely one of the most harrowing injuries. It's up there with like the Paul George injury or like the Gordon Hayward injury for me in terms of like seeing it like happen and just like feeling sick about the injury. I know injuries are part of sports, but some of them are particularly gruesome. And Jorge was never really the same after that, and I think he eventually just like went to overseas. I think he might have played like 1 or 2 more seasons maybe in the NBA. I want to say he went to like Sacramento or something, but. Yeah, I'm happy he was able to go back to Spain and continue out, and I think he's won a lot for the Spanish program. Like I think like they probably won like they probably won a couple of like World Cup medals and Eurobasket medals and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know, just a fierce competitor, man, and he would be a really really nice player. Again, that could contribute to this team for the Raptors right now. So here we go, Jorge Garbajosa for 3. To be honest, he wasn't like that prolific of a 3-point shooter, but yeah, there really just is a lot of him like hitting jumpers over and over again. But no, he's a good player, man. What was he in the rookie season? Hold on, I'm gonna look up his numbers for that year. Jorge Garbajosa. Okay, so he only played 2 years with the Raps, and then he went back overseas after he got injured. Oh yeah, he did not go to Sacramento or whatever. But anyway, yeah, he started 60 of 67 games for the Raps that season, and yeah, he shot 42% from the field, 34% from 3. Unfortunately, he broke his leg towards the end there. But yeah, 30-year-old rookie, 29-year-old rookie, and he was all rookie second team. So the only known American television interview with Deng Xiaoping. Okay, all right, we don't need to watch that tonight, but maybe I'll watch that tonight later. And then, oh yeah, one other game I wanted to show you. This is because I think we've been talking a lot about 2013, 2014, that season, maybe the parallels between this current team versus that current team. I gotta say, I don't quite see it because that team had some memorable wins that I even to this day I still remember some of those wins, and I'm going to show you some of those wins here. This is probably my favorite. So they had just beaten the actually maybe I'll show you that one first actually, because I think that's the more notable one. Okay, yeah, here we'll watch this one first. But yeah, like that team had some really exciting wins. Like they beat a lot of the top teams that year. This one is when they went to OKC. The Raptors were on a road trip. They had just traded Rudy Gay on this road trip. And the expectation was that they were going to trade Kyle and maybe even DeMar in that road trip as well. And so everyone basically was like on pins and needles and, whatever. The team was going to get broken up. And they had just traded for Rudy Gay, so they had a lot of new players from Sacramento. But they had some incredible wins during that trip. They obviously beat the Lakers right after that trade, that night of that trade, actually, with Rudy Gay out. Amir Johnson had a great game. Kyle had a great game. But then they had another road trip where they went through like OKC, who was one of the best teams in the league in that time. This is the year KD won MVP. And then afterwards, I think the next night, it might have been a back-to-back, they played the Mavs and they beat them too. Like, whew, man.
Tonight they are in OKC, where Russell Westbrook, fresh off his 31-point performance in the win against the Spurs. Thunder haven't lost this season at home, and they've won 9 in a row overall, but Kevin Durant struggled early on, 1 of 5, 3 first-quarter turnovers on the other end. It's Terrence Ross. He can do it from the inside, and here's showing off the
hitting a 3 from the outside.
Rivas Vasquez to DeMar DeRozan.
Woo, DeMar spin move. Tough. This is DeMar's first All-Star appearance was this year.
Now Reggie Jackson up top, and Perry Jones throws it down.
Oh, shouts to Perry Jones, man. He should have been better than he was.
You knew it wouldn't be long before we heard from Russell Westbrook.
Russ on an island against Amir. Yeah, no chance. Yeah, Russ has been shooting a little bank jumper forever, man. Shouts to Serge as well, of course.
But back come the Raptors. Kyle Lowry.
Kyle from the corner. 17 in the first half, man. Happy birthday. Happy 40th birthday, by the way, Kyle Lowry. The GROAT.
Driving.
Oh, John Salmons, what you know about that? Amir Johnson from the corner. Bang. Bang. Amir Johnson from the corner. Oh, Serge Ibaka from the corner. Oh, cool. That's family right there. That's family on family.
And then Westbrook to Durant. Durant made it 77-71 OKC. More from the outside. Westbrook.
Oh, Westbrook pull up 3. Damn, those hit like bricks. But look, so the Raptors were down, but the Raptors came back. John Salmons, yeah, man, Dwayne Casey fell in love with John Salmons for a while, man. Yeah, he played the entire fourth quarter. There you go.
Salmons driving and getting it to Kyle Lowry to cap a 21-6 Toronto run.
Dude, 21-6 run. Raptors coming from behind in OKC against Russell Westbrook, against Kevin Durant, against Serge Ibaka, against one of the best teams in the league at that time, man. And the Raps weren't shit at this point, man. Raps weren't shit.
Under 2 to go. Durant from downtown, 3 of his 24. That ties the game at 98. After John Salmons game, the Raptors.
Woo! Look at that block. JV and Amir double block.
Amir Johnson there to deny Russell Westbrook. Under 15 to play. They need a bucket. Durant misses the 3. Durant just 5 of 16 from the field in the game. OKC held to its lowest scoring fourth quarter of this season with just 14.
Look at that. Raptors 104, Thunder 98, Kyle Lowry 22-9 versus KD 24-8. Raptors pulling off a huge fourth quarter upset there and beat the Thunder. And then the very next night, the Raptors had to go, I think, to Dallas. And this was the game that they also won in a very, very exciting fashion, man. Woo! Jose Calderon. Now a member of the Mavs with Dirk, obviously. Here's Vince Carter and DeMar hugging it out. Second half. Oh, Gravis Vasquez. Oh, he got size on Shane Larkin. Opposite. Swing. Swing. DeMar for 3. Buzzer beater. Bang. Look at that ball movement. Okay. DeMar. One-on-one against Monte Ellis. Oh, he got stripped. Jose Calderon on the fast break. Can he score? DeMar with the chase down block. Let's go. What a hustle play to make up for the turnover. Man, young DeMar is so athletic, man. Here's Jose Calderon. Oh, they dropped on Jose? You can't do that. No way, Jose. Come on, dog. Jose over Kyle Lowry for 3? Oh, man. Man, people say Jamal could be as good as Jose, man. Man, Jose a good player. Very, very good player. Look at Jose. He's running the offense. One-on-one against Kyle. Drive. Swing. Sean Marion. Down 2. Oh, what a tough play. Look at a tough play. Talk about clutch scoring right there, man. Woo. Dwight Bikes coming off the bench. What you guys know about Dwight Bikes? Oh, man. That's a big shot right there. So, now they got to get the stop to force OT. Dirk gets the ball against Amir. Can Amir stop him? Fade away. Oh, great stop. Great board. Here we go. OT. DeMar's got it against Sean Marion. Comes off the screen. Dishes it down low. JV with the dunk. When's the last time our centers dunked, by the way, man? Jakob just taking every opportunity to take it up soft. Ah, DeMar. Stuck. Gives it up to Amir. Gets it back. Up, pump fake. And one. And one. Let's go. Let's go. Ah. Oh, who is that? Brandon Wright? Come on, man. Wraps up 1. Monte Ellis at the top. Monte, one-on-one against Amir Johnson on the switch. Amir. Ooh, he missed it. Amir with the rebound. Raptors. Raptors win. Raptors win. Raptors win. They're all jumping on top of Amir Johnson, Kyle Lowry, DeMar, JV. Come on, man. Anyway, yeah, I'm just trying to say, like, I don't know. Do we have those type of moments? I don't know, man. And the level of heart and the compete and like just the excitement and like again, like this team was written off like crazy. This team wasn't expensive. This team wasn't anything. They were supposed to be torn apart. They just got rid of Brian Colangelo. You know, Dwayne Casey could have been gone. Kyle could have been gone. DeMar could have been gone. Rudy Gay was gone. Andrea Bargnani was gone. You know, and they just stuck together and they fought. And again, they finished the season 42-22. You know, like the lot of heart. I mean, we've gotten to know these guys. Like, we know what, you know, Kyle's about. We know what JV's about. We know what Amir Johnson's about. Like, you know, we know what DeMar is about. Like, man, these guys weren't like champions in the end, except for Kyle. But like, we went to war with these guys over and over again, and they redefined the ceiling of that group. And you know, you could say they had limitations. Like, they definitely had limitations, but I don't question I don't question like their character, and they had so many of these great wins. They had a great win against the Mavs the Pacers that year. Pacers were number 1 in the East, you know. But yeah. All right, I'll take one. Was there one request from the chat that people wanted to see? Kareem, did the chat want something? We need Hito Turkoglu highlights. Okay, all right. Raptors Hito Turkoglu highlights. Goodness, man. Can't believe we're ending it with this. Okay, Hito returns home. Okay, that's kind of fun. All right, I don't remember this at all, but Streets want Jelani McCoy. I mean, I gotta look for YouTube. I gotta see if they have him on YouTube. After a certain point, some of the stuff just doesn't get uploaded to YouTube anymore, so I can't necessarily share it with you. All right, last one. Raptors Magic. Hito Turkoglu returns home. Oh, hold on. I got to put it on the screen first. Hold on. My bad, guys. Here we go. Streets are saying we don't need to see that shit. Guys, Kareem is Turkish, okay? How dare you disrespect the Turkish goat in Hito Turkoglu?
Raptors and Magic in Central Florida Wednesday.
All right. Oh, yeah. Look at Hito. By the way, did anyone else think Hito Turkoglu looked like the V for Vendetta mask? Like, he legitimately looked like the V for Vendetta. Look at him, man. Remember the day, November 11th or whatever the hell it was. The 1st of November or whatever. Oh, Hito. Yes, coach.
Feeling right at home from the start, knocking down the jumper, ties the game in 19.
Ooh, Jared Jack to the cup. Oh my God, bro! You see that block by Dwight Howard? Ah, that's like a volleyball spike, man. Here we go, Jason Williams.
Jason Williams up for 3, bang, bang, bang. Meanwhile, Vince Carter.
Oh, Jesus! Yo, wait, hold on.
Bang, bang, bang. Meanwhile, Vince Carter.
So Vince Carter throws a lob to Dwight Howard, and look at Bargnani's reaction. Bargnani's just like covering his head. Maybe protect the rim, bro. You're a center, man.
Superman up top for the jam.
Chris Bosh doubled. Swings it too.
Gonna kick it out.
Ooh, Turkoglu from the top. Bang. Hey, Hito Turkoglu is still the biggest free agent that ever signed in Toronto. I'll say that much. Oh, my God. Oh, Vince Carter for 3. What happened to Jumper's knee, man? Jumper's knee was fixed, huh? Okay. Dwight Howard versus Chris Bosh. Repost. No chance. Oh, you're Rookie DeMar. Oh, shit. That's Rookie DeMar. Yeah, Rookie DeMar. Damn. He was like 19 in this season. Ooh, Jared Jack. Okay, a little tip in for CB. Okay. This was Bosch's last year, by the way, with the Raps. Oh, Andrea to the cup. Oh, reverse. Nice little move. Oh, Rashard Lewis. Man, Orlando had some nice teams, man. Jeez, yo, look at these. Look at these Dwight Howard blocks, man. He blocked that like that's the top of the square. Like, look at that block. I mean, I know the you know, resolution isn't strong, but like you can see he's well above the square for that block, man. Damn.
Then the block party begins. Dwight Howard.
Oh, speaking of another one, yeah. Jesus.
Everybody's invited to this block party.
Hey, by the way, if you didn't see the 2008 playoffs between the Raptors and the Magic, this is basically how it went. Yeah, Chris Bosh getting blocked by Dwight Howard.
He wasn't done yet, though. Here's
blocking Hito Turkoglu.
Off the glass, starting to break. Magic.
Matt Barnes from the corner. Bang. Was this the year Matt Barnes did the ball fake on Kobe? Probably. Oh my God! Yo, every block from Dwight Howard looks insane. Oh, Ryan Anderson, the original stretch 4. Come on now. I mean, just kidding. Robert Horry was original stretch 4, but like, ooh, look at these names, man. Bosh, 20 points, 7 of 11 from the field. Hito, 14 points on 2 of 7, nasty. Jared Jack, 6 of 15. Bargnani, 6 of 12. On the other end, Rashard Lewis, 8 of 13. Matt Barnes, that's 20 points. Damn, 7 of 10. Dwight Howard, 6 of 7 with 14 rebounds, probably like 8 blocks. And then Johnson, I don't even know which Johnson this would have been actually for the Magic, but yeah. Streets are saying Hito Turkoglu was not a good signing with the Raptors. Obviously, you know, it's obviously, you know, but you know, our boy's Turkish. You know, what am I going to show you, man? Jeremy Lin highlights with the Raptors. You know, it's going to look similarly bad. You know, so. Before we wrap and get out of here, I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching some of these old highlights with me. It is actually really fun just to like revisit some of these older memories that, you know, I think about them very fondly. But finally, this segment is a presentation of ToonieBet Online Sportsbook and Casino. Thousands of slot games on live casino at your fingertips and a sportsbook made for Ontario. Get your game on with ToonieBet. So, again, some very nervous scoreboard watching around the league, but you know, I do think that if we take a step back and just look at, you know, basketball without the lens of the Raptors, and we just look ahead to like some of the awards, one of them that's gonna be really interesting is Clutch Player of the Year, which is a relatively new award. We've only been handing out for the last like 4 or 5 years, but yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised with the odds of this. So, I mean, the guy that's leading it is who you would expect, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's hit a lot of game winners in some prominent moments as well. He's minus 1,115. That is just a wow. Okay. Anthony Edwards is plus 1,100. Jamal Murray's plus 2,400. Nikola Jokic plus 2,900. And Luka Doncic plus 4,900. You know what? Shai should win Clutch Player of the Year because he probably has had the best clutch moments and whatever. But Luka, the way the Lakers are coming on strong right now, the fact that Luka just ripped off like a couple of game winners of his own, the fact that the Lakers obviously have like a obviously gigantic PR engine behind them, I might take a look at Luka a little bit on Clutch Player of the Year. I don't think it's like Shai should be like the runaway favorite. I mean, you know, I think there's other guys that involved, and also, you know, a lot of things come down to like who's going to hit the last game of the year. That's going to be leaving a strong impression in people's minds. And the Lakers, they play a lot of close games, so there's a lot more chances for him to hit big shots. And yeah, Luka, I'm surprised Jaylen Brown's not in this as well. I guess Jaylen Brown doesn't really have that many game winners. But yeah, anyway, I'll probably take a look at Luka. But anyway, make sure you hit up ToonieBet.com for all your sports betting activities. ToonieBet is licensed and regulated by the AGCO and iGaming Ontario. 19 plus Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Yeah, that's it. Raps, 3 stars. You don't really need 3 stars. You just Raps lost tonight. They didn't really put much of a fight against the Clips, but we got to watch some clips of the old Raptors teams, and it's fun actually. I really do enjoy watching and going back in memory lane. It makes me feel a little bit better, honestly, about some of the losses too. So hope you guys had fun watching it as well. Hope you guys have a good rest after this pretty late game. And of course, tomorrow at noon, Alex is finally back, and so we'll be able to do a show with Alex. As you know, the vibes will be high. It'll be much more funny and enjoyable. And we'll look around the NBA a little bit. So yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow's show. Come join us again at noon. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys. Leave a like on the stream. And dubs in the chat for Karem. We'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.